Hey, sweet friends. Okay, a little bit of change of plans tonight. I'm fixing to make something that I did not have on the menu for this week or upcoming weeks or whatever. But anyway, if y'all will remember, the other day I made the Rotel cheesy dip or whatever, and I was going to share some of it. And remember, I even made just half the recipe, but it still makes a lot. Anyway, I ended up coming down sick that night, and so I have been sick the last few days. I'm finally feeling a little bit better today, but I don't want to get into all that. I just want to explain to you what I'm doing here. So, since I got sick, I did not want to share that dish the dip, because I thought it's got my germs all over it, and then I'm going to be, handling it and giving it to them. I just did not want to do that. I'm picky about stuff like that, so I ended up keeping it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've got all this cheese dip here. That cheese is not cheap. And so it dawned on me. I was laying in bed last night and it just hit me. I thought I can make the chicken rotel, or chicken spaghetti that most people call it. So that's what I'm going to do. So not really a new recipe, just something that I can show you that you can, if you do, like what's leftover rotel dip. I don't know, because I never used to have it. But I thought, if you're like me and you just needed to make half the recipe, maybe perhaps you're wanting to make it on a Sunday game day for your family and you only need about half of the recipe, go ahead and make the full amount, and then you will have half of your recipe done for, say, Tuesday, if you want to make your chicken spaghetti. So I thought, well, that's a good way to look at it. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. This is my Rotel dip here that I have left. It's got the Rotel in it. It's got all the nice cheeses in it. And this is pretty much all the same stuff that I add to my chicken Rotel, except for the sausage. I don't normally, of course, add sausage to that, but I thought, you know what, it would just only add some great flavor. So what I've done so far, I had 2 chicken breasts, bone-in chicken breasts that I have boiled. I've already pulled them and diced that up. What I'm going to do here, I saved this part to show y'all. So what I like to do whenever I have chicken sitting here like this waiting, I like to take some of the broth, and in my broth here, of course I put in some chicken bouillon, okay, because we're going to use some of this liquid in our dish, okay. So I just poured a little bit of that over that so that it could sit here and not get so dried out, you know what I mean. So I've got that. And then I've got my liquid here going that I've cooked my chicken in, because I'm going to boil my pasta in here. Like I said, this is just some water and some chicken bouillon. I boiled the chicken, strained the liquid, and then I'm going to put the pasta in there, and then we will get out a little bit of pasta water to put in our dish, okay? I'm going to put a little bit of seasoning on our chicken while it sits here. I love to do this rotisserie chicken. Just sprinkle a little bit over it. Gives it a little bit of flavor. And y'all look at this. This is a new spice that I found at Walmart that I want to try. It is a salt-free garlic and herb. Salt-free garlic and herb. You can see it's a Walmart brand. So I thought, well, I bet that'll be pretty good. And you don't have to worry about the salt. So I love that. So I'm going to sprinkle it with a little bit of that, okay? And I'm just going to let this sit here, y'all. And so that's all we have to do. I've already got this done. I'm going to boil our pasta over here in a little skillet. I have some peppers and onions cooking up in some butter. And I'll put our pasta in here, cook it. And then we're going to add, we always do a can of cream and chicken soup. And that's it. So it's going to work out great. And I thought, well, I'm going to get on there, even though it's not a new recipe, and just share the idea of it, just in case you ever do have some leftover Rotel dip, which I know is not going to be very often. But anyway, y'all, I feel like I'm on the mend. I did the video of doing the dip, and I said, if y'all will remember, if you've seen it, I said, I'm going to get off of here. I've got to get in my shower. I got to get on the road. Well, I just started feeling, I had already not felt good that day, but, you don't think nothing of it. You just kind of keep pushing and keep pushing. I knew I felt tired. But as time went on, I thought, I just don't feel like I can make the drive tonight. I just don't feel good. So I told Jay, I said, you know what? I think I'm just going to crawl in the bed. I'm going to get me a good night's sleep, and I'm going to hit the road tomorrow. So he was like, yes, that'd be fine. If you don't feel like it, don't chance it or whatever. But I woke up in the night, and I was like, had chills, sweats, throat hurting, chest feeling congested, like all of the things. And I was like, whoa, what has happened here? So I immediately got on it. The next morning, I got me a Z-Pack, got me some albuterol, and a couple of things. And so I think I really got on it really quick. And so I have slept so much and just laid and rested. And so this afternoon, this is Sunday night now, while I'm talking to you, and I feel so much better. I'm not 100%, but I feel much, much better. So anyway, I thought I'm going to get in here and I'm going to cook up something. I'm going to use that dip. I'm not going to let all of that go to waste. I've already eaten way too much of it as it is, but and I don't need this. I don't need all this pasta, but I can't share it with nobody else. So what's left to do? You just gotta handle it. I'll just have to exercise more next week. But anyway, y'all, just want to give you a quick rundown of what's going on. And this water's coming up to a boil. I'm going to put my pasta in here. I'm using this thin spaghetti. Y'all know I don't like to break my pasta, but whenever I'm cooking it like something like this, like a casserole, especially a cheesy casserole, I do like to break it because it's so hard to scoop out, So this is one time that I do break it. I'm not going to use this whole box because I don't think I'm going to be making a whole big batch. But anyway, just eyeball it, and you make however much you think that you need, depending on how much dip you have or how you want to do it. So anyway, I'm going to get this in our water here, boil it up, and then like I said, I will definitely reserve some of the pasta water. We always need that in our casserole to thin it out. And I'll be back and we'll get all this tossed together, y'all, and we'll have us a delicious dish in no time. Okay, y'all, let's start getting all this mixed up. I got my pasta over there draining. Reserve some of the pasta water. I'm putting in 1 can of cream of chicken soup. Now this is the part where I'm kind of thrown off because most of the time right now I'd be putting all my cheeses in here to melt, but we've already got that part done. Now we may need to add a little bit more cheese. I don't know. We will just see. Like I said, now I've never done a leftover recipe using leftover rotel before. Like I said, I've never had leftover rotel, so this is a new one for me. This is cream of chicken, the healthy style. It's a little bit healthier, I guess, so they say. Hang on just a second. I'm gonna put me some of that pasta water broth in here, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I put some of the pasta water, broth, whatever you want to call it, in here because I know we're gonna need some of that anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in here because we definitely will need it to thin everything out. Okay. So, and then here we have our peppers and onions that have just been sauteing over here in some butter. Just going to pop those in here. I let these get a little bit crispy. I think I kind of forgot about them over here on this side burner, but they'll be okay. All right. And then I'm going to take all of our rotel cheese and everything here, put that in. So it's hard to tell how much this is since it's already melted. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of let all of this get combined together. I have more Velveeta in the fridge. I have a little more, I've got cream cheese, I've got sour cream. I've got all the things that I would normally add in this dish if we need a little bit more. So we will just see. Let's see, where'd my spoon go? Well, anyway, I'll use this one for now. So I'm just gonna mix this all up. Let's see. It really wouldn't hurt to have another can of rotel in here. I'm just going to be quite honest with you. So I may end up adding just a whole nother can of rotel because, I did half the batch or half of my recipe and I only did 1 can of rotel. And I like a lot of Rotel in my dip, and I like a lot of it in this casserole, which I do call it chicken Rotel. So I may end up doing another can. I don't know. I'm going to let this just kind of heat up for a second. I'm going to taste it and see what I think. This is some smoked paprika. I'm going to add a little bit of that in. And I'll just see. We may need, like I said, we may need a little bit more cheese or something. But anyway, we're on to a good start. Only thing we have left to add in here is our pasta and our chicken. I just don't want to add our chicken yet because I don't want it to be torn all to pieces. I like for it to still have a little bit of little pieces and chunks in there. And our pasta, of course, we don't need that in here yet. It's just going to make it thick and hard to mix. So I'm going to let this hang out for just a second. And I guess I need to turn it on. And I'll see. We'll decide. Like I said, I may end up doing another little bit of Rotel. I'll be back, y'all. All right, y'all. Yep, I talked myself into it. Another can of Rotel. Simply, I gave it a little taste test. Let's see. Let me hold off on just a little bit of it. Let's see. I gave it a little taste test. I know I'll probably add those, but anyway. I tasted of it, and I really couldn't taste it. All tasted good, but I couldn't taste the Rotel like I really wanted to. And that's the whole purpose of the dish. Now, if my boys were here and they were eating this, I wouldn't do this because that was, even though they loved this dish and I called it chicken Rotel, they didn't love the tomatoes in it. I'm just kidding. I always pick out some of these skins, y'all. They didn't love the tomatoes in it, but they still loved the dish. So I definitely would not do this if they were eating. But since they're not, and since I'm got all these germs and can't share with nobody, I might as well make it how I like it, right? I can't share it with nobody. So anyway, I went ahead and did another can, which I hadn't added the whole can yet, but I most likely will. So anyway, I just want to share that with y'all. I'm just going to let this cook a little longer. I'll give it another little taste test, and we'll be ready to add our chicken or pasta, and we'll be ready to get it in the oven. All right, y'all. Our little mixture here is ready for our last two ingredients, our chicken and our pasta. And I ended up using the whole can of my Rotel. It definitely needed that. I'm glad I ended up doing that. So let's go in with our chicken. Okay. And then here is our pasta. I just drained out. And y'all, I don't have really measurements for this because I really don't know how much we're making here since I'm kind of going in with leftovers. But you know, you just eyeball it, and it all depends on how thick or thin you want it, how much more you want to add to it, and all that good stuff, okay? So you just make it as you go. This is one of those things we kind of just make as we go. Oops. And you want to make sure it's a little soupy like this. If you've ever made dressing, you know how you like to make sure your dressing is a little bit soupy before you put it in the oven. This chicken casserole like this is the exact same way because it will kind of get really thick with those cheeses and everything. Trust me, I learned that very many years ago whenever I first started making this, okay? So I'm going a little bit, we can stand a little bit more. See how it's still kind of a little soupy? I think I'm going to leave it at that. I don't think I'm going to add any more to it. I believe that's going to be enough because you don't want it to be too thick. And kind of try to separate those noodles as much as you can. Let's see here. I don't know. I might do a few more. And remember, I didn't even do the whole box. So a little bit of this goes a long way. All right, I think we're going to leave it at that. And always save out, like I said, some of your pasta water to help thin it out, which we've already put some in here. Remember, I poured some in that can to help thin it out. And I think I will do just a tiny bit more just to be on the safe side. Just a little. Now I'm going to back y'all up. And I'm going to get our pan over here. And I don't know, I hope this will fit in here. I may have to get up my big pan. I was thinking this was going to be a smaller amount, but it has kind of turned large. Y'all know how things go. It goes from small to large quick. So I may end up having to change. Let's see. Let's see where we're at. Okay. I think we got it just on the money. It wouldn't have stood another spoonful of that pasta if I would have tried that, that's for sure. That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. It's good, it's juicy. That's going to allow it some good cooking time. And then it's not going to be too dry once we get it out. I love it, this texture. It's perfect. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sprinkle the top, of course, with some of my parsley. And I grabbed a green onion out of the fridge earlier, y'all, and set out here, and I'm going to put that over the top. But I have my oven on 350. I'm going to cook this for about, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes. You don't have to cook it that long. Just kind of eyeball it. I thought this little green onion on top would be a good little addition to it. Since I have these, I still need to use some of them, so I'm going to do it to it. Okay, y'all. I'll see you back here in about 20, 25 minutes. All right, let's look at our little dish here. Oh, it looks so good. Don't that look good? Look at it. All that good stuff on the top. I ended up sprinkling some smoked paprika just a little bit over the top too before I put it in the oven, but don't it look so good? So I did this uncovered on 350 for about 25 minutes, and so I'm just going to let it sit here, hang out, let it kind of thicken back up a little bit, and I'll come back and we'll get us some out and we'll do the taste test. Okay, y'all, let's get us out a little serving of this. It has been just sitting here cool. Look how good that looks. I put that smoked paprika on it at the very last minute, and I'm glad I did. I don't think I've ever done that before, but goodness, I love that good color of it, the good green onions on top. It looks fantastic. Okay, so let's get us some out. Now, it's not going to be cool enough to even take a bite of yet, but I feel like it is kind of set up enough to where I can get a serving out and we can look at it, if nothing else. Let's see here. I want to get this up here so y'all can see all this deliciousness with me. Look at this. Oh my word. Have you ever, I'll tell you what. Let's see. Get this out a little bit more. You see, this is why I like to have the broken noodles for something like this, because it is so hard to scoop out if you don't. Don't y'all worry. I'm gonna get my little serving bowl as much as I can get. Look at this. Right, y'all. I'm gonna let this just sit and hang out for a minute, and I'll be back and we will do the taste test. Let's taste our little creation here using our leftover Rotel cheesy dip. Goodness, y'all. I don't think you can mess something like this up. You know what? I don't think you can. So let's see here. Still crazy hot. But I wanted to let y'all know, if you're maybe you're new here, you've never seen me make this before. Tonight I just made a variation of this using my leftover Rotel cheese dip. However, I do have several videos on here where I've made this. I've made this a few times. Actually, this was one of Kanan's very most favorite dishes. And I think the last time I made it was on his, the anniversary date, September 26th. I'll have to look back and see. And it seems like I made it that day. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I will pin the original recipe for this of how I normally make it without using the leftovers. I will pin it. It will be in the first It will be the first comment on the page. Just give me a second. I'll have to go back and find it. But I will pin it and it will be there. And basically all you're going to see in that's different from here is just melting the cheese and telling how much cheese I use and all that. But anyway, I will do that just for anybody that's new and hasn't seen the original version. Okay. I've swung this thing around and talked so much. I know it's got to be cooled off by now. Y'all. I know it's going to be good. This is so comforting, y'all. There's nothing, I'm telling you, I'm going to be flat out honest with you. There's nothing healthy about this. It may have some onions and tomatoes and green bell peppers in there and some chicken for a little bit of protein and a little bit of added sausage, but this is just one of those meals that's just not that great, but you have to make it, eat it, and enjoy it, and then bounce back from it, you know? That worked out perfect, y'all, using that leftover Rotel. I had never thought about it because I've never had any leftover Rotel. But like I said, if you're making it, if you think you want to make a little bit of extra, go ahead. And then a few days later, you already have your cheeses and all that put together to make your little dish. It's perfect. I love it. Of course, I'm not going to be able to eat all this, so one way or the other, I'm going to have to end up throwing some out and wasting, just because, like I said, since I'm sick, I don't like to spread germs anywhere, just like I don't like to spread my bad days or bad feelings or anything like that. I don't like to spread bad germs either. So if it's not positive, I don't like to give it out there, regardless of what it may be. So I will end up having to waste some of this, as sad as that may be, but I will throw it outside and let some little critters enjoy it. But it just happens that way sometimes. It is what it is. You just can't prevent it. But anyway, I'm just glad to be feeling better. I've got a couple things in mind that I want to make for us over the next few days. But anyway, I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.